YouTube. What's cracking, peeps? What it is, right back with another video, man. Right back at y'all. On this video, we're gonna talk about bandit signs today. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know I spoke about bandit signs quite a bit. I'm a big proponent of bandit signs. Here in my market, they definitely do work. In a lot of markets, they definitely do work. And they've been here forever. They'll probably be here forever. And the reason is because they do work. Not a lot of people are big fans of bandit signs, and some people are very big fans of bandit signs. So if you've never incorporated bandit signs into your marketing, I would suggest you give it a shot. And if it works for you, you know, definitely stick with it. You know, stick with whatever works. At the end of the day, whether you listen to me, somebody else, whatever, stick with gets you the results at the end of the day. But we're gonna talk about bandit signs today. I'm sure virtually everybody who's watching this or will watch this are familiar with bandit signs and how they're used. Those are signs that are used by real estate investors, of course. They're used by landscapers. They're used by roofers. They're used by pest exterminators. They're used by people who hang big screen TVs. You know, they're used by a lot of different industries for a lot of different reasons. But the main reason is to get you to call that number that's going to be on that bandit sign. So when I first started doing bandit signs, well, first off, when I really first started doing bandit signs, I started off with poster board, and I was getting the wooden stakes, give me a hammer, and I was going out there hammering with a hammer and hammering the sign in the ground. You know, that was like my first experience with bandit signs, and that did not last very long because putting these out is already hard work. You know, it's already hard work, treacherous work, but with me nailing that poster board to the wooden stake and having to go out there and get the hammer and nail the stake in the ground, it was just too much work. So needless to say, I didn't stick with the wooden stake approach. In my experience, what really does work well, you're probably gonna get the best results by putting your bandit signs on poles. The wooden poles that you see around your city or your town, those are probably going to get you the best results. Those are typically going to stay up the longest. And that's really one of your main goals with your bandit signs, to get them to stay up for the maximum amount of time. You want the maximum amount of exposure you can get with your signs. And by putting them behind those poles, the likelihood of your average citizen taking them down is very minimum. A lot of time the code enforcement people, they don't want to try to get no line and mess with that sign. So typically the higher you can get them up, the longer they're going to stay up. And you got a lot of things you can buy out there to try to place your signs up higher. I have one of those, I forgot what you call it, but it's one of those big things. You can use it and go up higher. So I use that sometimes. And also you can use metal stakes and just stick them in the ground. I'm sure we've all seen those. Those definitely work too. Those typically are not going to stay out as long as the ones on the poles, but you can't always use the pole. You know, if you in one of these big major cities, you may not have a lot of poles in your market, so you know the stakes may work better for you. And you also can use cable ties. You know, wish I had some cable ties here to show you guys, but you can pretty much use cable ties, punch a hole in the signs, and wrap the cable tie around the bandit signs and stick them on poles. Some people stick them on signs, stop signs, etc. And before we go any further, let me also make this clarification. Definitely do your own due diligence with your own city and your county. As far as bandit signs go, to go ahead and get it out the way. 99 times out of 100, they're going to be illegal and they can get you in trouble. So it's up to you as a wholesaler to figure out what what parts of town that you can get away with it and what parts of town you can't get away with it. Here where I do them at, there are certain parts of town that, you know, the county will look the other way. And there's certain parts of town you put them out there, they're going to pull them right back up. So keep that in mind also. And as far as the people who do take up your signs, your signs will be taken up by like your competitors. They'll take up your signs. Your signs will be taken up by the county, of course. They'll come and take up your signs. And a lot of times your signs will just be taken up by your normal everyday citizen, your regular John Doe, your regular Jane Doe. You know, a lot of people don't like those signs out there, you know, so they'll pull them up also. And one thing that I've also realized with the Bandit signs is like, keep this in mind when you're buying your signs and also when you're putting your signs out. Let's say if you order 200 signs, right? And you put all 200 signs out. You really only put 100 signs out. Even though you bought 200 and you placed 200 out in the streets, there's really only 100 out there. The reason I say that, from my experience, every 2 signs you put out, you're going to really lose 1. As far as what you want that sign to do, the length of time you want it to stay up. So for every 2 signs that you put up, you're losing 1. So keep that in mind. If you buy 1,000, you put 1,000 out, there's really 500 out there working for you. So where you put the signs up is very important. You want to put them up where they can be seen, you know. You want to put them in high traffic areas. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that you watched the video on about Bandit signs, and I'm sure everybody has said the same thing as for where to place them. You definitely want to put them in high traffic areas. You know, wherever in your city or your market, you got the big intersections where everybody stops and traffic is just always backed up. That's kind of where you want to place your signs at. You know, you want to make sure they get that exposure. So you definitely want to put them in high traffic places. Another place that really works for me, y'all, is, and they're going to be mad at me for saying this, but Walmart. Some Walmarts will let you get away with it. Some won't. That's up to you to figure out which will and which won't. But Walmart work great. If you can get your signs out there at Walmart and in that vicinity of Walmart, take advantage. Grocery stores. Here in Georgia, Kroger is a major chain. So grocery stores like Kroger, they work well. Another reason they work well at grocery stores like Kroger, because typically your major chains like a Kroger or a Publix, nowadays they're gonna be in a shopping center. So what happens with shopping center? You got people shopping, you got them coming, going, and stopping. So shopping centers are great. You know, those plaza shopping centers, you can get away with them. You know, those are great. Those high-end shopping places, they don't want they probably, you know, them signs probably ain't gonna stay out there long. But I mean, you get the drift. So high traffic areas, they work great. Universal high traffic areas. For me, shopping centers, Kroger's, Walmart, they work good. Another place they work well is in school zones. We're well in school zones. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and just walk the perimeter and put a sign around a whole school. No, I'm not saying do that, but if you can find a nice place in a school zone, they definitely work there too. And one reason they work at school zones, well, a few reasons they work at school zones, because school zones always have traffic. You know, parents are dropping the kids off, they're picking the kids up. Another thing about school zones, people do what? They drive slow. So the slower they're driving, the more time they have to focus on reading your signs. And normally with school zones, there's a lot of start, stop traffic. So that's another reason that school zones do well. But Bandit signs, you know, they definitely work, you know, y'all. They definitely work. Like I said, it's hard work putting them out. For me, I put them out typically on the weekends. As far as specifically when, in my experience, the best times to put signs out, in my experience, is the wee early mornings of Saturday. When I say the wee early mornings, I mean around anywhere from about 5 a.m., maybe 4:30, 5 a.m. to around about, you would probably want to kind of wrap it up around about 8. So about 5:30, 5 to about 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning, that's for me, that's golden time. You know, some people will say late Friday nights, you know, like maybe 12 a.m., 1 a.m. But me, well, technically that's still Saturday too. But for me, a little bit later in that morning, around 5 a.m. And the reason I say that because most people work your traditional work schedule, Monday through Friday. Most people are gonna work your typical work schedule, 8 to 4, 9 to 5. So most people are gonna plan to sleep in on Saturday, typically. So that gives you a lot more time to get out there and do your thing. A lot less traffic, a lot more time. You know what I'm saying? And putting these signs out, you don't want to be out there fighting with traffic, especially if you're out there putting them out by yourself, which a lot of times you may be. You don't want to fool with traffic. So Saturday morning is golden, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Especially early, like say 5 a.m. You literally out there most times by yourself. You know, especially if you're in like a little mid-sized market like me, you out there by yourself. You know, you rarely see even a lot of police out there at that time also. So you can go out there and really get the most of your time around early Saturday morning, like 5 a.m. Gonna get up, man, and you be just shocked that you got the whole streets to play with. Ain't nobody out there at that time. Everybody sleeping in. You got some people sleeping in because they done worked all week. You got some people sleeping in because they partied all Friday night. So Saturday is a good time, and that way you can take advantage of Saturday and also Sunday. For me, I go out there sometimes like Fridays, you know, Friday night, you know, 12, 1 o'clock like that. Sometimes I do that, but it's not as good as getting up early on Saturday because you still got the people out there partying, that type of traffic out there. And then, you know, for the police, you know, they kind of looking at you like, hey, why are you over there by that building and they closed? You know, so when it's a little wee daylight out there, you know, just a little, you know, when the sun's getting ready to, you know, come out, you know, you look a lot less suspicious, you know. So just throwing that out there. But here go what some of the signs look like. I got some right here just so y'all can see. Here go one of them. Let's see. All right, there you can see it now. It says I buy houses, get cash fast, and then it has a phone number below. That's kind of typically what you want to get, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just something to let the your potential customer know what you do. This says I buy houses. This also says get cash fast. The reason I put get cash fast there because I want to establish a sense of urgency. You know, I want to real motivate the seller who really needs to get cash fast. So I want that statement to catch their eyes, and they call that number below it. You know, so and it don't have to say this. You can say we buy houses. You know what I'm saying? Need to sell your house fast. You know, but this is the general thing about it right here. You just want a real simple short statement. And make sure that telephone number is on there. Of course, you know, don't pay $300 for some signs and you ain't got your phone number on there, man, because people ain't gonna give you your money back at the sign store. Here go another one, you know, just showing y'all some different sizes. You know, this is another option you could do. I hope you can see it. It's just a different size. The sign says the same thing, but again, it's just a different dimension. You know, this may work a little better for you. And these are also handwritten fonts, by the way. I didn't write these with my own hands or mark. I didn't do this, but when I ordered the signs, I just told them to give me handwritten fonts. And here's another one. Says the same thing about how to get cash fast, telephone number. And this is a printed font, of course. And I've been working with both of these. You know, some people may respond better to a printed font that looks a little more professional, and some may respond better to this one, you know, a handwritten font. You know, you may got one guy that you can establish he feels more comfortable with a font that looks like it's been handwritten, and you may have another guy that feels more professional with the font that looks professionally printed. But I would say try them both, and whatever one works for you, rock with it and roll with it. I started off mainly with the printed fonts. Just recently I went to the handwritten fonts, and I just want to kind of, you know, go both ways, kind of, you know, test them, see what's working, see what's not working. Because like I say, you got different people that are called different signs. But you can work your own mojo on these signs, you know, put whatever you want, put whatever you want to on them, but you want to kind of have that message of what you do. I buy houses, get cash fast. We buy houses. I pay cash for houses. We pay cash for houses. Quick closing. No, something like that. But you want to make sure everything that's on it is very easily to be read, seen. And one thing you don't want to do with your bandit signs, you don't want to put a lot of stuff on here. Just you want a short, quick, simple, concise message. You don't want to put I can buy your house in 30 days or less. I'll give you a fast cash offer. I'm friendly. Here's my phone number. Here's my email address. Here's my website. Don't put all that on the sign, because they ain't gonna give that sign no type of attention. It's already gonna be tough enough to get them to get that attention with these kind of signs, but if you just start writing all that stuff on, they just gonna totally ignore you. You know, so just short, simple, concise, and to the message. And when you do get them, be consistent. You know, put them out there. You know, be consistent with them. Don't put 100 out there and then you don't get but 3 or 4 calls and you just quit. You got to consistently put them out there, man. One of the components of making them work is kind of like mental recognition. It's almost like sometimes playing mind games with people's minds. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but what I mean, for example, let's say you got somebody and you got signs out and they have literally, and I mean literally, wrote by your sign at least 50 times, at least. And they have literally stopped at that red light and read your sign at least 30 times. Now the 51 time they pass by that sign, that might be the time they finally call, because now you kind of establish a mental relationship with them. Well, okay, well, I see this sign out here all the time. It's been out here for months, and it may be different signs. You may just be being consistent and keep putting up new signs when they get taken up, but in their eyes and their mind, they just thinking this is one sign with the same message. I see it all the time. Now you have kind of in their mind established that you're not a fly-by-night company. You're gonna be here to stay. You're gonna be consistent, and you're gonna be reputable. So now that 51 time they call and they stop at the red light, they may finally get out their cell phone, hey, Tyler, I just saw your sign here, and I got this vacant house that I had for about 2 years. I'm just ready to give it up. And the reason I'm going into such detail with that, because if you just put the signs out there a few times, you give up, you're going to miss out on a lot of people that you could grab by being consistent with your signs and consistent with your message. You know, so definitely stay consistent with it. You know, people are seeing those signs. So, you know, be consistent. These signs definitely do work. It's up to you kind of figure out where you can and can't put them at. Good rule of thumb, if you just starting off, wherever you see other bandit signs at, go ahead and put yours out there. You know, you don't want to go put your sign right in front of City Hall. Them people going to come out, they're going to call you and they're going to look for you. Don't do that. You know, be respectful with the signs, as odd as that sounds, but you want to be respectful. Don't put them places you know you shouldn't put them. Like I said, don't put them right in front of your City Hall. If you put them on somebody's property, like maybe let's say a liquor store owner, he comes out, he tells you, hey man, don't put that sign out there no more. Don't go back out there and put it out there. You know, one thing about staying under the radar with these signs is do not aggravate people. You know, if somebody tells you don't put it there and you continue to put it there, and now you've aggravated them, and they're going to escalate their aggravation by calling the county. And once the county gets enough calls, then hey, they're going to eventually take action. So you want to stay on the radar, under the radar. You don't want to aggravate people. And don't go out there and pull up your competitor signs. That gets you nowhere. But above and beyond, just stay consistent with those signs. They definitely will work. Promise you, they definitely do work. But until the next video, I'm going to check out, man. Y'all be easy. Y'all be good. If you got any questions, you can feel free to ask me questions in the comments. I got a lot of questions that I need to answer because I have made videos in a minute, but I will eventually get around and answer the questions. So if you got any questions you want to ask me, just drop a comment. We'll chop it up in the comment. Don't forget, before I go, follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Tiddy_Jones, TIDY_Jones. I'm checking out. Y'all be good. Peace out.